Hello mutants, and welcome back to another fabulous video on our channel. I'm Jacob from Jacobishere, in case you guys have never been here before. Today is an episode of Growing Together, and things are about to get a little spicy, so let's discuss. Growing Together is a series on my channel. It's a sequel series to Birth to Death. Birth to Death follows a single sim from birth to literal death. Again, I broke this up into three mini-series, or three series, because the life stages just go on and on and on and on, because it's really story-based and things. That character being Mindy, we literally saw Mindy get birth from the womb of her mother to where she is now, and she's a young adult, and she has 3 kids, and she's married, and her marriage is kind of under shambles, and that's where we're going to start out today. And we're first going to talk about something, because I don't know if it's going to pop up on New Year's, and then she might end up deciding to go out for New Year's. I've yet to decide what she's going to do. It really just depends on where she's at mentally, and we're going to talk about that today, because that's the type of series that this is. It's been away from that for a while now, but as the kids are getting older, starting to do growing together things, such as like building a treehouse and riding a bike and things like that. But we're going to go back more into what the original story was about, and that is Mindy's life. And Mindy's life is a little chaotic, and I kind of feel bad keeping you guys in the dark, because the whole point of the beginning of Birth to Death, keeping you in the dark, was because Mindy was too young. Well, now these are things that are happening directly to Mindy, and I always said if it happened to her, I should tell you about it. We're about to get real, even if you don't want to, because shit's not great in paradise, and that's what we got to talk about today. And I will say this much, it does pain me to say this, because Mindy is by far like one of my favorite characters I've ever played in my entire life. So it does hurt in that regard, just because, like, for me personally, I desperately want Mindy to just be as, like, happy, everything as possible. Like, that's my number one goal. She married a cheater, and I think it's time to talk about it. The reason why I bring this up is because if you guys missed last week's episode, it's very important. Last week's episode, we saw Iggy possibly cheating on her, or flirting with somebody else, having a comment of a flirtation with somebody else in the room that we believe would be Kendra. Kendra is one of her closest friends, Mindy's cousin and things, and so it's like kind of in the family. The last person that we explicitly saw this with was with Evie at her engagement dinner in Birth to Death, following the episode. It's a very key episode in their relationship. I would say those last like 4 or 5 episodes are very key for Iggy and Mindy, especially if you're trying to figure them out. They had a much bigger relationship. They've known each other since they were children. They went to prom together. They dated in high school, and between a few other people that she dated, she's had 2 or 3 other love interests, which we're not going to specifically talk about today, but just know this is a very talking heavy episode. Then we'll jump into some slight gameplay and stuff later on. It's just how I tend to like to do my series. She had a fear in the last week's episode because she is a loyal sim. That means, I've gone over this a lot in my head, Mindy is not polyamorous. Mindy is not an open relationship type of cow. She is a strict monogamy type of person because she is loyal. She wants the person that she's with to be loyal to her as much as she is loyal to them. She's loyal to her kids and she's loyal to her family and her friends. And she wants to be loyal to her partner as well. And yet her partner is not loyal to her. And I have several instances of this, parts that I cut out on camera of him doing it. I'm digressing. She has this fear, and that is talk over relationship fears with Iggy from fear of being cheated on. Mindy feels like she is ready to sit down and talk with her partner. It won't be an easy conversation, but being vulnerable and talking about the insecurities never is. She knows that it's time to be brave. See Iggy, click on talk over relation fears under the romantic category, which I don't think she's actually ready to do, and I mean this truly. I have some examples of the reasons why. I think she's getting to a point where she is ready. I just don't think she's mentally there yet. A big part of that is that she does believe that Iggy is cheating. Like, she strongly believes this. One, like I said, if we come down here into her panel and we click on traits, fear of being cheated on, it has popped up 5 times. It goes away on its own, which is really weird. So in my brain, I always think that she just kind of suppresses it and moves on to ignore the fear of swimming. It's kind of funny that's there. These are things that are really, like, it's really interesting to me that he is just a flirt. He flirts with everybody. Like I mentioned in the last episode, Iggy particularly has always wanted to flirt with Mateo, which Mateo is a very interesting and kind of like rocky relationship in this household, simply because Mateo was somebody that a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people in the comments and stuff wanted Mindy to end up with. Mateo is married. He's married to Morgan Frey, and they went to high school together. He was Mindy's first and everything. Like, it was a big deal. For a long time there, that's who we thought she would get married to, and obviously that's not who she's getting married to. That's not who she's getting married to, like, at all. I'm just going to put the gameplay in the background while you have this conversation. Essentially, I'm doing the same thing I did the other day. This is the quickest and fastest way to grow fame in the Sims 4. Is to take a bunch of pictures and then upload them onto your Simscrim. I know it says it's like you're only getting like 20 followers, but in reality, she gets like $200,000 every single time. It's the quickest and fastest way, and I want her to be level 10 before she goes to college. That's also another thing. Mateo is somebody that she thought like could fix her when she went to college, and she could not. And then she met Iggy again later on in life after she dropped out of college and she started to run her own business. Now that she's had time and she's been working in this industry for a very long time, she's actually realized that her goal in life is actually not to run a business. I think it's to have the business on the side. It's an art gallery that she has, that she produces her own art for and things, but it's actually to be a charity worker and do everything in charity. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like for us in our living situation, because this house was made for Iggy and Mindy to live in. And I'm not saying Iggy and Mindy are getting divorced, but I'm also not saying they're not going to get divorced. I do think that it's a possibility of something to talk about, because Mindy, once again, is monogamous. And due to the last bit of cheating, I have a few other stories that eventually I will tell once they start to talk about these problems. But I do think Mindy's just going to let this fester for a little bit. I think she would post on Reddit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's exactly where she would go. I think she'd pop up in a Smosh video. I also have a strong feeling that she will eventually, I think she's gonna go out with the girls. I think she's gonna leave Iggy home with the children for this special day, and we're gonna go out to a club or something with the girls. She's still a young adult. She still has not done that in a long time. And she has several friends. And I'm not going to lie to you, I think she's going to go talk to Evie. Because for a long time now, we've always thought that Evie was the instigator in the situation. Evie was her maid of honor. Evie was going to be all these things for her wedding. And if you guys once again are not familiar with the situation, I do recommend being familiar. There's only a few parts of Mindy's life from birth to death that you really need to be remembered for. And I'd say anything to do with Iggy, anything to do her mom and dad, or her moms, because her moms were a very big part in this sphere of hers. When she was going to get married, when she got married to Iggy, she was scared that he was cheating on her at that point, because her parents are notorious for cheating on each other. Both the people that her parents are with, they cheated on them with her parents. Like, it's a very messy, very, very messy situation. That's really the only way I know how to describe it. So the conversation I'm having is that I just don't think Mindy's ready to process this information. I think she wants some proof, some concrete proof before she does it, which means she needs to go talk to some sources. And the only two sources that she's very much aware of are Kendra, who she very much strongly believes, and then of course we also have Evie. And so I think she's going to get her group together, and I think they're going to go out for New Year's. I think while she's drinking, I think maybe she'll open up a little bit. Mindy also, by the way, has not had a drink in years. She had a very big drinking problem when she was in college. It was a big issue. I don't know if you guys remembered that or not. And she's been kind of in recovery for a long time. And so she does take a sip of alcohol that could send us into a pretty big spiral. To be honest with you, I do think Mindy possibly could be jumping into a spiral. We'll just have to wait and see, and I'll come back to you guys on New Year's. I know I talked about how we were going to come back in when, like, New Year's and stuff, which is still the plan. But I want to very quickly talk about how Aaron got the clerk of an early riser, which is really cool, which just means that he likes to wake up when the sun wakes up. He naturally rises. And then Andrea did lose her tooth, which I can show you guys the little thing that it comes with when she comes home. Then Aaron also, because Aaron's the only one that's awake, Maggie is not woken up yet from her sleep, is that he also loves to read and loves books. And so I think we should put that into consideration going forward. Maybe he'll be an author or something to do with literature. Maybe he'll be a professor. Ooh, a professor sounds like a great idea. Then Andrea, who's now a child, will be either a scientist, astronaut, something to do with science. Aaron will be a professor, which originally I thought maybe, actually I didn't really know what I thought, but I think a professor is a good idea. Maggie will be a politician, just because she loves to speak, and I just think that would work out really well for her. I don't think I can look in her inventory. She gets like a certificate type of thing. We don't get to see the tooth, and I wasn't on her when she lost it, so I'll see you guys for New Year's and we'll talk about that then. Alright, I'm going to come in here and give you guys another quick little update. It's a little bit further into Friday, and we did have our final promotion. We can't get any higher than this. And he has promoted Erin at Superstar. She'll now make an additional $174 per hour for a grand total of $621 per hour. She has received the following bonus of $1,729. She also has Gamer Sleek and it advertised massive sponsorships. Don't know exactly what Gamer Sleek means. That's going to be interesting to figure out, but she just needs to share jokes and followers, and she can't, I think all she can like really do is get like higher up, like they'll give her more vacation days and maybe raises and stuff, but she's basically done, which does mean that she is now financially well enough supported for the 3 days that she goes to work. For the 5 or 6 hours, she's going to make a shit ton of money every single day. She is now financially supported with her job, to go back to school full time without having any worries. And so I do think after this New Year tradition, I do think she'll probably end up going back to school. She only has about a semester left. She is coming, I'm pretty sure, out of communications and going into a completely different degree. So she might have to start over even if she doesn't really want to. Some house changes. I now decorated for like towers and stuff. My goal is to make Aaron and Maggie as close as humanly possible just because they're growing up together. That is my goal. Well, I'll tell you guys again. Okay, the last time I checked, so this is Mateo, unless you guys did not know. Caleb Fleming, I don't know if he's married or not. The last time I checked, Mateo was married? Is he not married anymore? Oh, this is really intriguing to me. Because a part of me wants to say, yes, do what your heart tells you, but also a part of me says romance is in the air. But like, if we end up getting divorced, I mean, just because they get together doesn't mean Mateo ends up with her, right? We could end up with Mateo. Some of you guys have suggested Mari, some of you guys even suggested Evie at one point that we could end up with. I thought he was married. Oh, I need to know. Okay, I think I'm going to do what your heart tells you, which is not an answer he's going to particularly like, but that's fine. Now I have to know. That's something that we need to know immediately. So bear with me as I go and find good old Mateo and... Okay, guys, no for future Jacob, okay? Mateo's also a cheater. They could have an open relationship. I mean, it's very possible. Sims is kind of like just wow now, you know what I mean? Oh my god, that's insane to me. What about you? Did you get remarried? Oh, she did not get remarried. I would have to wonder if Amara could possibly be who she ends up, because like they're not in a good romantic space. I'm just gonna be honest. It's crazy to me. This is absolutely insane. I have no words. Okay. Gonna pull out. Wow. Okay. Back again. When I clicked on Iggy, because he happened to come in the room, we were doing some other extra like small work on the side and stuff. Oh, I can turn back on the audio now. Take residency key back. That means she kicks him out of the house. Talk about marriage. I do feel like they're gonna talk about marriage. I think this will be our first little possible conversation about it. A part of me also thinks that they're probably are gonna argue. My microphone cut out. Luckily enough, I caught it. The last time we left you, they were gonna talk about their marriage. It did not go well. They ended up getting into a fight. Mindy also learned in that fight about the fact that he is no longer in having a job. They've been arguing off and on for the past couple of days, and now that New Year's is about to arrive, we come to the realization that Andrea is starting to notice. And with that being noticed, he takes it upon himself to kind of try to save face a little bit with this relationship. Not save face, I guess, just to try to explain things in a way only Iggy can truly explain. I don't want to make Iggy out to be a bad guy, because I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy. He just, just likes flirting. But I think he is telling Andrea that, everything will be fine, and that him and Mindy are just going through a rough patch right now, and they're going to work this through, and he's very hopeful for that. And I think that does bring a little reassurance to Andrea. But that being said, I'll show you up, guys, tomorrow evening. Oh, also, that's what you get for losing a tooth, by the way, in case you guys are curious, because she did lose her tooth. And also, it'll be like one of her front teeth and stuff, it's gone, and we'll just wait for it to grow back. But I do want to know what you guys think, what you guys' thoughts are in the comments down below on everything that we discussed. We'll talk about it a little bit more. I don't think, personally, Mindy is at a place right now. I think she is a little bit of spiraling. She wanted to try to drink, but it did not accomplish. I guess that also didn't show. She went downstairs for some reason. She couldn't get to the bar. That is good that she couldn't get to the bar. She couldn't drink. And again, she is a recovering alcoholic. It's not something I talk about very often because it's a very dark and very personal story or whatever, but for a long time there, if you guys go back to when she was in college, that is practically what all she did was just drink when she was in college. And everybody in the comments and I agreed, it seemed like a bit of an issue and a bit of something that, like a crutch that she used when she was in a pretty dark place and stuff like that. So it's good that she didn't drink, and it's good that maybe we're not celebrating New Year's on this channel with them. I'll just go to whatever the next thing originally was planned for the next episode. We'll continue how this develop, and eventually she'll have that conversation with Evie and she'll have that conversation with Kendra. I just don't think right now in her life, I don't think she's ready to embrace this. Let me know what you guys think. You think Mindy is ready to do it because it's popping up? Or do you think Mindy will continue to push it down as she has been doing the entire time they've been married? And with, Andrea being a child, they've at least been married for 6 or 7 years. And that's a long time for knowing. The engagement dinner had to be at least, 7, 8 years ago. So it has been a long enough time that maybe even we wouldn't even know, even remember. But we will eventually have that conversation with Kendra. I don't know when exactly. I will mention next week's episode is a wedding episode. Her parents, London, and her fiance are finally getting married. And so that will be what next week's episode. So I'll be about the wedding. I don't plan on having anything super chaotic happening except for the wedding. They are fighting, so that could still be going on. Everybody's coming, all the kids are coming, and everything else. It'll probably be a venue that we've already seen before. It's gonna be pretty low key. Only a few people are coming, a few family members and stuff like that. But Kendra should be there, I think, because I think London's last name is Han. I think it should be Kendra's family. Alright, that being said, I'll tell you guys all next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.